Everybody
We are
go.
going live.
Most things are bad, sharp.
We are going live.
Oh.
Before Farid me and his guys come. Okay, Oga Felix, welcome. I don't know if you can show us your video. We'd like to see your face. Okay, this is me trying to confirm that we are set on live. Michael, can you help me check if we are live? Okay, I can see that we are live. Let me share that. All right, please, if we can also do well to share it on our status so that, your people know you are here. I would really appreciate. Our worship, it's good to have you also.
Oh, good evening.
Good evening, boss man.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, Michael.
Worship.
Good evening, boss.
Agbo. How are you? Good
Now
evening.
go the chop oga money like this.
Good evening now. Agbo, you go where Jabi, you no go.
I go now. I no go.
Agbo, you go where you no invite us.
Now you go represent.
Yeah, enjoy it.
I've been on.
Oh, Michael, did you check the sound on YouTube? Let's know if we can all hear each other. Okay.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's slow, but
it's low.
I think it's slow. Like it's delayed, yeah. That's the right word.
Delayed. Oh yeah, definitely. There will be, I think the latency is like maybe like 5 seconds. All right. First, I think I would like to appreciate everyone for coming in to help with this Christmas program. I think 3 of us have been part of AfterLife Initiative since inception, and that will be 2019. I think 2019 majorly, and I know we've all benefited from this initiative in one way or the other. So this is, I guess, our way of giving back. To me, that's the way I see it. Just giving back to our community, to everyone at large, and just sharing our experiences with people. So to our viewers online, thank you for coming. We are happy to have you here with us. Just a minute, like I said, let me just post all this thing everywhere. Yeah, ká fi sí gbogbo ará àdúgbò. Okay, let me just copy it from my status. Forward. Looks like we can also send to Facebook too. So today's topic is, we just go straight into it and we share our experience while we talk about it. Maximizing undergraduate days. And I think one of the reasons why I probably picked this topic is because sincerely, I feel like your undergraduate is what prepares you for graduate school in one way or the other. It could be you, maybe doing the right things at the right time, doing your undergrad. It could be as important as doing, maybe just getting the right CGPA. Because, people trivialize some things, but getting the right CGPA, getting the right project to work on, Like recently, I think I've seen some project topic, and I'm like, there's no way you're doing this project topic and you want to go to grad school. Like, there's no way you're defending this in front of like an international school, like in the US, to say this was my undergraduate project. They are probably just going to throw you out of the window. Like, I don't think you guys know what you're doing when you're starting this project. We welcome Big Man all the way from UK, Success Ajayi. Thank you very much for joining us.
Nice to be here. Thank you very much. Nice to see these old faces. Big men.
Yeah, it's
Well,
good to see.
said,
Yeah, it's good to see all of you. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
for the
a
record,
long while.
for people that don't know, we all attended the same school. We all finished in the same set, and I think we're all doing exceptionally well. So it's nice to have everyone here and to see the progress we have made. So the first thing I actually want us to talk about is balancing academic performance with extracurricular activities. And obviously, I know in Nigeria we do internships, but we call them other things like SWEP and all those things. So that's what we call them. Don't necessarily call them internship, but they're like internship. Uh, so I don't know who wants to go first here. I've let worship. Well, maybe worship should start because worship. I know. Don't let us spill the bean here, but we if you know, you know. So I don't know. What do you think? What's your experience about like when balancing academic performance with extracurricular activities?
Okay, so I actually had like a slide prepared.
Oh,
Do I
really?
present the slide or should I just talk about
I think you should
balance?
just talk. I don't want to stress you, but you can forward your slide to me and let me see if I can get it on the screen for you.
All right, so balancing academic performance with extracurricular activities and internships. Now, I would say I'm a good person for this topic because I'm going to be speaking from experience. Most of what I learned after my undergraduate days. Like when I was in school, I was majorly book. Like, make I read, let me read. Sorry for speaking pigeon. Let me read, let me pass my tests, pass my exams, come out with a top CGPA. That was my own mindset. And it was really, really myopic because after school, what you need is way more than just what your CGPA is going to give you. Your CGPA is very important. Please don't get me wrong. It's really, really important because that's the major reason why you're actually in school. But you are also supposed to become a well-rounded individual. That is what your undergraduate days is supposed to prepare you for. Be a well-rounded individual so that when you get into the society, you'll be able to apply the various skills you've learned from your academics and from interacting with other people to become a better person, right? So extracurriculars like joining your football team, something as you might think that is just trivial, but it really helps joining something like your football team, joining like clubs, journal clubs, debate clubs that will really, really help you. And then participating in volunteer activities, also volunteer initiatives that will really, really speak well for your resume. And then internships. Internships is something that's very, very important because I'm someone from a biomedical science field. You can't get into graduate school, for example, in the US without having some form of experience. You can get that through internships or through your research in school, depending on how good your research actually was. But internships is one of the easiest ways for you to get some sort of experience per se for your graduate school, most especially. So yeah, it is a really, really important thing. And you have to know how to balance all of these, your extracurriculars, and you're having to gain some research experience and all of that with your academics. Because like I said earlier, your academics is also very, very important. It's the basis of everything you're going to work on. It is very, very important. So while you add the other things to it, please always like try to make sure you maintain this balance so that you don't focus too much on your extracurriculars at the detriment of your academics. So yeah, I think I'll leave the floor for another person for now, and then I can
Oh,
come
okay.
in later.
I mean that's a very good point that you made there. I was not too much of a footballer myself, but I know I had medal from not playing. I had medal from not playing. So I think I tried.
You
Maybe.
cheered us, so that was something.
So I'll let Success go next because I know Success actually was a music producer when we were in school. So how were you balancing that with being one of the top in the class also?
Okay. Okay. It's nice to be here again. And for me, even reading what's on the slide right now, it says balancing academic performance with extracurriculars activities and internships. For me, actually, while I was an undergrad, I think one of the things I understood was time. Yeah, because it's about balancing. The balancing in this sentence actually means time management. So how you are able to schedule your time well for your academics, schedule your time well for any other extracurricular activities you're doing, and maybe for internships. To be clear, I didn't even go for any internship while I was an undergrad. I didn't actually know of that. But I was very surprised when I realized that some of our classmates actually went for internships, and actually the basics of where several of us actually is or are right now. So my point would be number one, time management, which is very, very important because while I was an undergrad, I invested my time in music, in learning piano, in learning music production, in learning audio recording and things like that. So, and the reason why I was still able to at least do well is like I tried my best to be able to manage my time very well. And then the second point would be about focus. So I will advise because that's one of the things that I would have done better if I were to still be an undergrad. It would be actually to focus on the main or major thing part time. So even if you are involved in extracurricular activities like sports, like maybe games, like music production, or in anything whatsoever, I believe for every time there is a particular order of priority. So at those times of the semester, you should be able to actually highlight that, okay, at this particular time, this is the priority. You set your priority list and you are able to actually focus and bring more of your time onto what is on the top. So, and then when you are on break or when you have extra time, then you can schedule those for other things like any other extracurricular activities. Just like Worship already said, your first aim is actually to actually have that good grade in your academics because it sets that platform for you to actually go overboard with whatever you want to do next. So time management and then managing your focus, actually, I think it will help in balancing academic performance with extracurricular activities. And then the internships, just continue to liaise with several people that you know, liaise with your friends, your colleagues. I think it's good, it's worthwhile to actually have good friends who would actually tell you what's going on and who will not just leave you in darkness. So having friends that can tell you, oh, I'm doing this, I'm applying for an internship here, I'm going for a volunteering here, okay, I'm going for a particular workshop here. I think that also can actually help because it's really important also, internships. So that would be my take for now.
Yeah, I think you this the point you just mentioned now it's very important to me because and I think that's one of the reasons why Afterlife Initiative started. It's the fact that I know when we were leaving FUTA at that time, it seems like there was like a blank in front of most of us, and I think the community we built of just keeping that close connection with each other really helped us to navigate our paths. Even though some obviously we didn't pick the same path, but it kept us in like in a very good way. To say
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
I know when success is applying to the UK, I know when worship is applying for this, like, and then that keeps me on my toe. Like, oh, I think I should apply for this too, or I think I should be doing this thing too. So that really, really kept me on in a very good place to constantly like revisit my vision or my goals because I had friends that were around me that were doing very, very similar stuff. Talking about friends, Michael is here, so I'll hand over to him.
Hi guys, welcome to the show. It's not a show, but whatever. It's nice to see you again. Worship and success. Mr. Felix. I don't think I've met him, but I mean, welcome on board. So, taking the topic before us. First, we have to know that all of these things, are very important, especially if you want to study abroad or things like even if you don't want to. Right now, people look further away from your academic performances into who you are as a human being, right? So all of these things are important, both extracurricular activities and your academic performances. And the two guys that spoke before me have spoken well about how you can manage all of these things. But what I would add is um, set priorities, okay? And Sosa already mentioned part time. So they are both important. Get into okay, so set priorities, okay? So your academic is important. Doing things that you enjoy away from your academics is also very important, either in church, as maybe student union or student unionism or your sports, things like that. But do things that you enjoy so that they won't stress you, okay, when it comes to extracurricular activities. So you can't start. I know many people have businesses, right? You want many students nowadays have startups. So either they are selling this, they are selling that. Those things are great, but also try to do things that are impactful. Volunteer, join the debating society, your church group, be a part of something that shows that you are human, you are contributing to both knowledge and to your environment, but also prioritize some of these things. And speaking from experience, for me, what I enjoyed in school was student unionism. So I only did two things: class, unionism. So I did politics and academics, and that was it. And those were the things I capitalized on, and I tried as much as possible to do those things to the best of my abilities. And how was I able to pull it through? It was by putting together a structure that I know would make it work. Okay, so maybe you are into church activities, for example, or you have a business and you are doing that, but you see that okay, you need some kind of help, or actually everybody needs help, right? You need that information that you couldn't grab in class. You need a community of people to always remind you of things, to always tell you, oh, the deadline for that assignment is this time, or this professor hammered on this in class. I think it will be a part of the questions, or this person sent us AOC, have you seen it? Things like that. You need a community. So that's important. Set a community around you for each of these things. So when I was in school, for example, I had friends that were very close to me for both, like Christian. Christian was, we were practically together all the time. And Christian was both in politics and involved with my political career or my unionism in school, and also
I
and
was your
also my
daily
academics.
TV.
And I had the likes of like Said, who wasn't interested in politics, but Said was a very good friend for academics. So it was someone that was able to tell me, okay, when I finish my maybe the SRC meeting at maybe 9 p.m. at night, Said is in class. So instead of going to the hostel with my fellow unionists to sleep, Said will call me, oh, I'm in class. So instead of going to sleep, I'll pick my books and go back to class. So what I'm saying is that put together a structure that can encourage you to be the best at whatever you have chosen to do. Okay, so try to identify people that are responsible in those areas. Said was the best in my class. Christian was a very good, also a good unionist. So, for example, if I'm contesting for a position, there are people that I know maybe I'm not close to, but I need them. Christian will be close to them, right? So instead of stressing out on, okay, how can I convince these people? How can I do this? Christian knows. So I'm just all I need to do is to sell my idea to Christian, and then Christian convince try as much as possible to convince those people. So I stopped stressing. Solomon was also. I'm sorry, I'm mentioning names, right? It's for good. It's for good. I know I won't get sued. It's for good. It's for good. Solomon was Christian's assistant, and Christian's assistant rather, and he was good with getting things done, right? So if you need, Solomon knows everybody. Like if you need a book, if you need anything, just tell him you know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody. So those kind of having those kind of people around me helped me to fulfill my purpose and helped me so much in doing things way faster. So instead of going through the whole textbook, of course, we were doing a medical course, our textbooks were really big. Said already read many of those things, right? So all I need to do is, oh, Said, what did you read for this topic? Right? I made my notes. And for Christian, who I don't know, I think he doesn't make notes. He's not like, okay, have you made this note? Okay, give me the notes. So we had that cycle of passing around knowledge and helping each other, right? So whatever you are doing, try to build first, set your priorities right, like knowing that academics is most important, right? But as well, if you are trying to go far, maybe depending on what you want to do with your life, if you want to get into business, try to also build a structure around that area. If you're going to grad school, try as much as possible to know what you need to do to get into grad school and try to invest in those things. And yeah, build a community around yourself that could help you, fulfill purpose in those areas. Thank you.
All right. I think I've spoken to a lot of undergrads, and sincerely, uh, for me, I don't think I can over emphasize
Sorry.
the the fact of like having like good friends, like people that know where they are going around you. Like it's something that sincerely, even if you don't know, like even if you don't have concrete plans, as long as the people around you are just like they say, you are the average of the five of your closest friends. It's something that is so important that, because like Michael was pointing out from personal experience, in school I was not the guy that take notes, and I'm also the guy that probably won't listen too much in class. But then I feel like I had friends that covered each of those spots accurately. Like Okewo was there, LSA was there. Like I could easily use people to cover up my loopholes and be like, you know what? Yeah, I don't have notes. Okewo takes the best notes. Let's go get it. I don't understand this thing. LSE gives the best explanation. Let's go get it. I don't know this thing. Worship would know the answer. Let me go ask him. And that would like I can't overstress the impact of that in uh in
But
even
you'll be more efficient that we don't have to spend
yeah,
so much time doing things
like
on your own, figuring things out on your own.
it's too efficient that you can easily live that way. And the same thing work if you're like in the bottom half of the class also. Like if you're like working with all the guy that they're the one that shut down O2 Arena, then they're the one that is shutting down it's what's the name of the Quilocks, and that's the pattern you would have around you, even if you're trying to be serious. But there's no way you would change, because these are the people that would influence you. They will be like, oh, what did the lecturer say? All your friends, none of them know what the lecturer said. So there's like your hope is already gone. And that's why when I talk to people, especially undergrads that are very close to me, I'm like, who's the best person in your like how far off are you from the best person in your class? If you're very far off from that person, how close are you to them personally? Now, let's say far off in terms of your CGPA or like academically. But then if you are not far off, how close are you to that person personally? Because at least using our academic criteria, we could say this person is having everything put together. So if you want to be like that person, the only way you can undo it is to try and get close to them personally and monitor their routines. For example, just to mention again, at some point I knew I had to change my routines in terms of how I started to do things, like when I moved close to LSA, because I was like, this guy has covered half of the textbook before he even came to school. Maybe I can do a little of that. Maybe not up to the level you would do it, but a little of that would bring me close. And then I started to monitor the way there was this guy in our class too. Then for people that probably obviously we're just giving example now, and I'm sure some people will be familiar with him. Jamil. Jamil looks unserious on the outside, but there was a time I had like privileged opportunity to be in his routine. And I was like, no, this guy is more serious than all of us. It's like, I was a joke in terms of his reading habits. Like, my reading habit was a joke compared to him. This guy's a Muslim, wakes up for the morning prayer and stays awake reading till he comes to class. And then this guy comes to class and jokes with everybody. And all of us were like, this guy has not read, though. He's like us. Trust me, it's not like you.
Not like
Worship secret too. There was a day worship was like, I've never been to night class. I'm like, hey, what am I doing with my life? and that, I think that goes back to what Michael and Ajayi mentioned. Like, know your routine, know routines that you can set around yourself that make things work effectively for you. So I'm going to pass
Christian, I
the
would like to
mic.
add something.
Oh, okay.
Like, why?
Yeah, please, please.
Okay, so I'll have to add that it has to be, nobody is saying you should go and start, sucking people's asses. No. Because you can't now force yourself on people, right? So usually these things come in a way of maybe symbiotic relationship, right? You have to be offering something, not money or anything. So the person has to consider you useful to be able to, you know, a- allow you the access, into their lives, or into some of these things that we've spoken about, right? So, and that could be information, right? For example, Christian was a class rep, so he had information. Of course, you know the importance. If you're an undergrad, you know how important class reps are. So if the class rep is your friend, it means you probably be the first to get you have direct access to the class rep. You can call him. Oh, is that class going to be cancelled? Should I come or should I not come? Things like that. So that was important to these people, right? And they were able to surrender their notes when the time comes. Do you understand? So you can't just
I needed those notes.
yeah, you can't just sit and then be like, oh, I want to be friends with you, and you think the friendship would flow that way because people have their things going on, okay, and it's difficult for you to just run into their lives. So and it doesn't have to be the best person in class. Like I said, identify your priorities, identify your weaknesses, and try to set structures around it. Okay, so you might be the good guy, and maybe you need, because you want to come into grad school maybe in the US, and you know that okay, you need some positions, or you need to like work volunteering or internships,
Yeah,
and there's one guy in your class that knows everybody.
talk to him.
Try to make friends, and then the guy can connect you, talk to your lecturers, greet people, things as simple as that. Okay, so yeah, that's what I wanted to add.
Oga Felix.
Yeah,
Oga Felix and I met in the US, but since then we've been really good friends, and he's my mentor.
Yeah, for where? No, my boss. Yeah.
So it's good to have you. Can you just share
Uh,
like maybe your experience with us in terms of like undergrad, how you're able to manage academic performance with like, I know you are into business a lot, so how were you able to do that with just being in school and being a successful undergrad?
yeah. Thank you so much for the opportunity. So, for me, I believe one thing that I discovered that was like a key point to my progress was that uh, you are not an island of knowledge, and you should not always think that the people around you or some people that you think they are not versatile in whatsoever thing you desire will not be useful for you at the end of the day. You know, being like someone that loves to maybe read my area of interest, which is chemistry precisely. So I was that kind of guy that I just want to know more. But at the same time, due to some financial conditions and all that, I have to launch into do some business in my part 1 days. That will be second semester till when I graduated at the point. So I was into a lot of things. But one thing I noticed, I was leveraging, as you've said, right? I was leveraging on others people uh acuity, like their kind of strength, in a way. So there's a particular lady that, as you said, that she's very good with writing, going to class and all that. She knew that I'm this kind of guy. Once I want to pursue something, I go for it 100%. So anytime she's into a lot of things, I'll be reading textbook alongside in my business. But note is very important to aids in Nigerian school, like especially where you need to know your notes very well. So at that point in time, right? So I was just like I tried to have a relationship with her in a way, not like like brother and sister. I was also a president of a fellowship even in my part two at that point in time. So I was combining a lot of things together. So what I was doing at that point was okay, Muji, I know you are very good with writings and all that. So but if you need some info on how to know the background story, the fundamentals of everything, just come. I will give you some hints on how to, summarize things, put some acronyms and get your way around things. So they knew that when it comes to organic, like I'm a little bit versatile with that. So any other area, they will be like, okay, I'll just go and meet them. So they will come around and Felix, I know you know this area very well. You know how to maneuver your way because of the fundamentals, right? That I've acquired in a way. So I always try to leverage on a note. I just photocopy it. I used to travel to Ibadan almost every weekend, like from Ife every weekend. So I'll just copy, photocopy the notes, go back home, do some business I need to do in IB, then just read alongside that. So I think one of the most important things was like, aside the fact that there are people that are high class, I mean, they are very strong in academics, classes, and all that. So there's also some other people that are, I mean, in behind, I mean, between both of them. So most of the time, people commonize them. It's like, okay, maybe they don't have anything to offer, but sometimes I look beyond that. So it's my business, maybe the business that I have, I know I can, you know, uh, I can't take charge of everything. So I would just be like, boss, say if you do this one, you understand? Sorry for using that. Like, can you do this? Like, we can partner together in a way. So I know they have some skills in business and how to run things up. So I try to bring, yeah, almost like every sector, every class of people in my group, in my class at that point in time. Those that are not academically oriented, but they are business oriented, I have to collaborate with them. Those that are academically oriented, but they are not business inclined, so I have to collaborate with them. So I'm just in between both of them because before we graduated, I mean, at that point in time, some of us are already millionaires. Those that are not even, they are not intentionally into academics. They already know what they want
Show
to
us
do.
love, sir. Show us love, sir.
No, no, no. I mean, at that point in time, sorry for saying that. So they already know
Don't
what
let
they
me
want to
cast
do
you. Don't
because of
worry.
yeah, because of collaborations and all that. So what I'm trying to say here is that you said it all. Like networking is very important, and don't ever try to be like you want to be in this class of kind of people, and you won't try to maneuver your way around those that you think that they are below you in a way.
Yeah.
Because one thing about life is you don't know what will happen tomorrow. So,
Mm-hmm.
as for example, now there are some of us, right? They know that okay, I'm in between the most brilliant and not even be you get like I'm in between, just an average student. Don't let me say an average student. Like I know how to maneuver my way around things. So there are some people that they are not academically oriented. They just want to pass. But people like us want to have A's or B's, at least in a way. So those guys, before we enter part three or part two, they're already into some kind of maybe tech business, some kind of trading. So, they are in full like money. You understand? So, high that I was a little bit in between them, I was able to tap the information from both ends. You understand? So, I graduated well, and also I was doing the business alongside with them. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
there are some people that are far, far into academics that they actually didn't just want to relate with them. But look, because of my own kind of nature and the things I've been into, so I make sure that I just try to maneuver my way around both of them and set things right. So nowadays, if they are talking about their kind of people, like, oh, they want to do this, they'll be like, Felix can also help. So if it is academic people, they want to do something, they'll be like, okay, let's call on Felix in a way. It's like that was just the balance. So one thing I noticed in school, undergraduate, right? Don't ever commonize anybody like, okay, this particular person is not doing what I'm doing. I don't have to relate with him. No. Make sure you balance things up because they might be your stepping stone to actual things you want to achieve in life. So that's one thing I noticed. Like networking is very important, not just like a particular key, like set of
People.
people,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Maneuver your way around both of them, balance things up. So you might not be like the best of the best, but at the end of the day, you know that you can leverage on both sides. Because for me, I didn't receive like okay, when I was coming, everything was like okay. I was doing my own personal business and I was doing my own personal trading. So it was as if I did almost everything all by my like with the help of God, right? Like there was no any input from anywhere. It was just because of the relationship that I've leveraged on that have helped me, in a way to do some trading and acquire some funds to, pursue, pay for my my app fee, pay for my, like service fee. Every other thing was done all by myself, like without having to be like, I don't have money. But one thing I did was that, okay, I knew that I am not actually fund sufficient, in a way in my undergraduate days. And that really affected my first year and second year. You understand what I'm saying? Like, because I have to solve a lot of things in a way. So because of that, I make sure that I settle things before coming to grad school. There are a lot of things that I settle. I mean, Christian knows some of those things. I have to settle some things before coming, so that I won't be like, oh, I have to think about home. I have to think about things like that because I know how I was affected in my first year, second year. So yeah, things like that. I've learned my lesson from that. So I build on that and I leverage on both hands the academic people, those that are not academically inclined, and I just maneuver my way around it. So that's
Yeah,
right
I,
now. Yeah, yeah.
I think what you said, I don't know. I was just thinking about it that I mean, most of us, I know when growing up, we want an horizontal relationship where you probably have a mentor that's above you that you're looking up to constantly. Uh, but then we try to commonize, in your word, vertical
Mm-hmm.
relationships among your peers, because for me, I think that relationship is as important as having an horizontal relationship with, like, maybe mentor or with God, and I mean the hierarchy goes on. But having vertical relationship among your peers, I think that's one of the reasons why even this program can hold, because you all, like, are my peers. And I tend to have good relationship with people from very large spectrum, and I think maybe being in politics helped to really solidify that part of me in, like, just having a wide spectrum of relationship with people. So while we're doing that, one of my other guys came in, uh, engineer Adekoya. It's good to have you, sir. No, I'll not blow your horn. All this, just for the viewers online, all these men that you are seeing here, if you see them on the road, you have my permission to build them. They are very rich guys.
Yeah, yeah. I've been enjoying the discussion before I even connected at all. I was watching from YouTube. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Oh, nice.
Nice to meet everyone. All protocols duly observed. Nice
No,
to meet you. Yeah.
there's no
Welcome, sir.
there's no
Yeah,
protocol here.
yeah, welcome, Doc.
So I think we can drift to and I know we are all busy, so I really really appreciate us coming here. If we need to go, just let me know. I really really appreciate taking time for us to be here. Now I think we'll go to the next point that we want to discuss, which is lack of clarity on how to prepare for grad school while still an undergrad. But before we go to that, I don't know, Ogashin, you said you've joined online. I don't know if you have any extra comment to add to the first topic, which is balancing academic performance, since you were also one of the best writing students at that time. Or them, he way of footer.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, what everyone has said is just what I would want to, re-emphasize. One of the mistakes that a lot of folks make is you are either doing one thing and leaving other stones unturned. You are either, overly focusing on just the CGPA. CGPA is fine. I had the highest in my department, right? But you want a situation whereby if you're competing with people that have similar CGPAs as yourself, there's something that's still gonna, make you stand out, something that's gonna make you different. I mean, if we take that CGPA away from you, what else can you offer? What else do you have to you? You understand? So, I mean, a lot of people, we all graduated together at the time. Some had really high CGPAs, but now, they're still trying to find their footing in their endeavors because there's no value, there's no skill. They have the GPA, they could go to night class, study all night, get into the exam, or have the A grade. But take that away from them, solve real life problems, they will struggle. So it's very important that we balance these things, and any opportunity you have to, improve your skill sets, improve values, just, take it, take it. Yeah, I don't want to talk too much. Thank you so much.
Oh, okay. Worship, I think you had your hand raised earlier. I don't know if you still wanted to uh, say
Not
something else.
really. I think everyone has already touched what I wanted to say. I just wanted to emphasize on the importance of having the right connections and the right friendships, especially when you're still in your undergraduate level. Because I remember that time in 200 level, I know that the turning point in my academics was when I met Daniel and Tosin. These are two guys that were really, I don't know. when you are still trying to battle with head and neck, Daniel has known everything already, and he'll start dazing you and you'll be like, wow. So they really spurred me to like improve in my academic endeavor, my pursuits, and it really paid off. So yeah, having the right connections is really, 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 really important. Thank you. That's just something I wanted to like buttress there.
Oh, okay. I think we can go to the next point then, which is lack of clarity on how to prepare for grad school. Uh, for us, I would say we come from a very privileged position in the sense that we had uh, lecturers. I wanted to say faculties, but lecturers. We had lecturers that were very inclined with grad school, even beyond Nigeria. And that really helped in preparing us to give a glimpse, let me put it that way, of the life we could have outside of our undergraduate days. And even though we didn't know the process that was involved, but we kind of had like an end goal in mind already at that time. We knew, okay, I think I want to see myself in this place, but we didn't know the process that was involved. And one of the clarity I would say came to me then was, and I know we've said the mentors. I had two mentors at that time. We were at that time graduate assistants in the biology department in Futa, alongside my supervisor. And within the same period, they all like relocated to like the US to start like their PhD and postdoc. And that changed my opinion in first that because if someone that you are close to has not done something before, you don't know it's possible. There's the way it's reinforced on you that if someone that is very close to you do this thing, there's that thing that is just in you like, okay, I think I can do it. Like, if this guy that we've shared the same soap water, Gary, can get this thing, I think I can get it. And that really, really like helped me to like now start talking to these guys like, okay, sir, I need this thing. What can I do? I mean, recently, and I think I had that moment myself. Recently, I was helping someone apply to grad school, and she sent. So we're working on a statement of purpose, and then we're also working on we worked on our CV. She was not the one that even brought it up. She was like, Christian, do you remember the first CV I sent to you? And then I went to look for that CV, and I was like, and then I was looking at that CV, and I was looking at her current CV, and I was like, this was me some years ago. Like, my CV was, even me, I would not grade my own CV. Like, that was how bad it was. But then the fact that I had people around me that could constantly, like, help to refine me in what to apply for really gave clarity. Now, some of us didn't have this clarity until we graduated from undergrad, actually, to be sincere. That was when the big clarity came to us, maybe during NYSC and everything. And I think that's one of the reasons we are saying this now, so that even while you are still at undergrad, you can actually get that clarity of grad school. You don't have to wait till NYSC days. Most of the guys that we all know that had that clarity from their undergraduate days, most of them didn't even wait in Nigeria to do NYSC. Because at the time they were graduating, they already knew the right things to do. They already knew the right things to get. They already knew the right information, and they just left. Some of them even transferred while as an undergrad to come to the US and continue their education because they had the right information, they had that clarity. So for me, I think, sincerely, that's one of my passions for AfterLife Initiative, is to make sure that some of the things we didn't get as an undergrad is now made available to undergrads at a very easy rate, like, and for free. So I'm going to shift to maybe like all our other speakers now. I mean, what do you think affected you in like having clarity for grad school, and then how were you able to deal with some of that? I'm going to start with Ogashion because you just come, so you should have enough word to feed your boys. And just for the record, let me mention that people online will know that, now. Let me say one line in your CV. Ogashion is also a mentor for Education USA, which is probably like the top funding body in Nigeria when it comes to grad school funding, and it's also part of the US consulate. So he's a big man. Big man is in small body.
Don't mind this guy. I have a small brain. I'm not that smart. I have a very small brain. Okay, there. Thank you so much again. Um, for me, I would say, okay, just before I share my own story, what I would want to say is to just re-emphasize what you said before. I mean, as you are preparing to graduate and, heading for NYSC or whatever, that NYSC period is supposed to be the time you are putting things together. And then as soon as you have your POP, you leave the country immediately if you have plans for graduate school, right? Because I mean, I think I remember myself and my friends having our personal parade on March 5, 2019. We already had the scholarship before the end of NYSC, and then we were already positioned to leave Nigeria August 2019, September 2019. But COVID happened, and then we had to defer. We couldn't travel immediately. I mean, we knew that, okay, we could always defer our admission and stuff like that. What am I saying in essence? In short, you know, we were able to walk all the way during the course of NYSC and just have, the
the
future
future
secured.
secured.
So,
So,
by the time we were already writing our final semester exams in year 5, we had already connected with mentors. We've had stories, we've seen, we've experienced firsthand. People really close to us, like, so person is in Germany, so person is in Poland, because initially we thought if you didn't even have your own money, if you didn't have your own funds, it's gonna be difficult to pull opportunities like this. But they told us this is what you have to do. Now you have I remember one of them even specifically telling us, see, you guys have the first class already. Forget about that first class for now. Do like as if you don't even have a first class. Do like you don't have a strong 2-1. Then let's build the profile. So I wouldn't say I struggled. I wouldn't say I struggled because I had the right connects. Okay, so
so
I was even gonna miss out on it. It was my very good friend that's in Canada that I'm always thankful for, that even showed me the way as well. You always have someone to show you the way. Yeah,
Definitely.
I was just all about, I just won't finish it first class. And the guy was like, why exactly are you planning to finish it first class? I said, because I don't want to struggle to get a job in Nigeria, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, do you know that we can actually, do even greater things with this GPA, not just searching for a job in Nigeria. And then he started attending so many events, so many, sessions on scholarship application. Me, at the time, it seemed like something really massive that I could not easily overcome. So I didn't want to, push that boundary. And then he just told me, let's start emailing these professors, let's do this, let's do. And then they were responding. We started, engaging ourselves in Zoom interviews with these professors. They really wanted us. So the turning point was when we started applying for some scholarships in Europe. And then they were just bouncing us. Apart for Commonwealth bounced me. And I was like, I have a freaking first class.
My story.
What's going on here? And then I applied for Erasmus. Erasmus bounced me. I was like, feel like saying, don't you today this matter? I was like, so this GPA is not enough. And then applied for, at some point, I even applied to Saudi Arabia. Guess everything was just like, so that was when we're not like, it seems like this is going to be a full-time job. So one of my mentors, that's why the right connect is very important. And I said, guy, you're in engineering, you have this, you have that. Just take the GRE and head to the US. So that's why you need these mentors. Like it's still boiling that back to that. What we've mentioned before. Mentors are meant to serve as a compass to help you find that direction. To be honest, I have a couple folks now that just graduated from FUTA. I mean, I think FUTA had their convocation like around 2 weeks ago. A number of them are not going to be doing NYSC. Before they finished, they were already like, oh gosh, we are following these footsteps, we are doing exactly the same thing you do. And I can tell you for a fact that they are different from a couple other folks that are going to be applying for graduate school. I had already started telling them, this is what you need to do, this is what when you have the right mentor, what is supposed to take a longer time for you, you do it in a short while. to be honest, I really wished I had this kind of opportunity myself. Because if you see these guys' profiles, they have the work experience, they have the leadership and community volunteering experiences, they have the awards, they have the papers. I didn't have a single paper, even though, I finished up on my class. I didn't have a single paper at the time I finished. So it was when they were now trying to advise us. One person that was mentoring me for Education USA said, if you want to pull through Education USA, you need at least one paper. That was when I hustled one paper out. But these folks that are just graduating, I have not even left for NYSC. A couple of them have papers. They had emailed so many professors. Those ones want them here. The right mentor. So that's one thing I would say on clarity. Just get the right mentor in a similar niche as you. Doesn't even necessarily have to be a similar niche as you. As someone like me, I'm experienced. I've done people in non-STEM, people in education, people in you want to do MBA, you want to do MPhil, DPhil, whatever. So just try to tag yourself with someone experienced. If you have that guidance, what ought to take you a lot of time is just gonna take you very short while to achieve. Yeah, that's all I have to say.
Thank you very much. I mean, you pointed it out. Having like the right person that can guide you would reduce. Because I think when you lack clarity, is because either you lack the knowledge or you lack direction. That's the I think the encompassing meaning of lacking clarity, basically. So I don't know. Worship, do you think? Do you have like? Do you want to follow up on this? Because I know Worship is PhD student in FUTA or
Yeah.
physiology, and what do you think? Is it? Do you think it's different if you compare that to like an international setting, in terms of coming as an undergrad to like grad school?
Right, so getting into grad school in Nigeria is a very different story, different from getting into grad school abroad. But I want to say something about getting into grad school abroad. So if you lack clarity, you need to be able to seek information. But that's not how to use the internet to look for information. Right? This is really, really important. In addition to having mentors, it's not every time you can just, yes, they'll give you the direction and all of that, but you still have to make research on your own, right? So you have to know how to use the internet to seek information. Now, this is going to give you a bird's eye view, especially now that you're undergraduate days. You check schools in the US, you check departments that you think you might be interested in, you check their requirements. Based on that, you already know, okay, these are the things I might need to have in place to get into grad school in the US. It's still a big task from where you are right now to where you're supposed to be, but having that knowledge, knowing how to seek for information is something that's really going to help. And something about having mentors, I'll say my position right now in the Department of Physiology doing my PhD is because I had a good relationship with my mentor. He has been my mentor since my undergraduate days before he went to the NIH for his postdoc and all that. But the position I am in right now, I would say is because I was able to have a good connection with him. Right. So please make sure you have good mentors in your field, good mentors that can guide you. Because as Engineer Shin rightly said, it makes the whole journey relatively shorter than someone that is just having to scrap for information by himself. Because I would say this was one of the errors I also made coming out of that. I did not have mentors to guide me. So I was still like more in the wind, I would say, during my initial stages before I now started getting my own bearing. But please make sure you know how to seek for information. It is really, really important, especially on your own. Very, very important. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that fact. And yeah, I think for me, mentors are like they really helped with clarity. And there's something else you said, which is doing some things yourself. And one of my mentors, one of his footnotes, and Engineer Shehu knows him too. One of his footnotes is like
You do
anytime
not
he's
do for others what they will do for themselves.
one of the things, like anytime he sends you like an email or something, there's a footnote in the email that says we can only do for people what they can't do for themselves, but we won't do for them what they will not do for themselves. And that message sticks in my head all the time, because anytime I want to ask someone for something, I'm like, wait, can I do this thing myself? Like, if I can do it myself, why should I go and stress this person? And if I can do it up to a level before going to meet them, then I've really helped the person to even help me. So sometimes I've seen people reach out to me and they are literally expecting me to write their SOP. I'm like, why will I do that? Do you think I don't have time, like, to do other things? This is your own role. This is where you come in. Some people expect me to fill in the position they did in undergraduate. How am I supposed to know? These are things you're supposed to fill in yourself. I'm only there to help you or guide you to say, this is what you should do. This is how you should do it. But I'm not there to actually fill those things in for you. I can only share opportunity with you. I can't force you to apply. And all these things are put together. And the other part is using information online, like just searching for. I know sometimes the information might be a little bit clumsy, but even if you are going to come to someone and you've done a clumsy search, it helps that person to just tell you, like, you know what, refine it using these filters and you get something that is less clumsy. But you can't just come and say, oh, you've not done any search and you don't know anything, and then you expect this person to start like from scratch with you. It just makes the work a lot more stressful for whoever is going to like mentor you. Because even to get a good mentor, you have to be a good mentee yourself. And that's something I think I learned, that for your mentor to be good to you, you yourself have to be a good mentee. You have to be mentorable in terms of they can tell you things to do and you are following those actions through. Uh, and that's so important, like really, really important. Uh, so since I see that you've been nodding since, so I'm going to I'm going to hand over the mic to you.
No, I was just in agreement with everything you have been saying. Like, yeah, you're nailing you're getting it on point. So it's nice. So, but sincerely, from my own perspective, if I'm to say anything concerning this, I would say the big one is that mentor aspect. And then the second one is what worship actually mentioned. But if I would say it in a more general sense, it would be harnessing every opportunity that you have, every resource that you have. If you can use the resource that you have optimally, the internet, even the like, if I were to whisper it, there are AI now. We are living in the world of AI right now. Although we know that it won't actually do the job for you that will get you there if you're a lazy type. But at the same time, with the resources that are available right now, there are things that you can actually figure out yourself, and then from wherever you have gotten to, if you take it to your mentor, then you can fast track getting to the result that you want to actually get to. For example, me, I actually didn't really have any mentor to actually tell me this and this is what you should do for graduate school, things like that. And when I finished my master's, I was like, okay, I and my brother were like, the next thing now is like we want to do PhD, but let us try if we can actually do this even out abroad. And I saw some of my colleagues also that was telling me, he was saying, he said, progress, success. You are really actually bright. You should kind of look for things abroad and things like that. And it was like clumsy and things and just like that because I don't have that much of the information. But to be honest, even despite not having someone that I could actually run to and say, oh, this is what I've done. Okay, I've done this SOP, or I've written this proposal and things like this. Still, because I harnessed every resource that was actually in my disposal, the internet, especially the internet, and I was not too lazy to actually go through those things that I needed to go through. I was able to do it and I made it. So you have to use everything that is in your possession, every resource that is available to you, you have to use it optimally to see that you get to where you are going. An adage says that if you don't know the way to somewhere, ask someone who knows the way to somewhere so that person can actually lead you to the place where you're going to. And then lastly, I would like to add that even though you might not have a mentor right now to actually lead you on your way to where you think you are going, I think it's very good that you make good connections with the people that you don't even know that will be mentors of tomorrow. Because in undergrad, the people that you are friends with, even though there's no mentor around you, there's no mentor um in that your circulation, you never can tell the first, second, third person who actually makes it out of that group, that makes it out to get into graduate school, or that makes it out to get things going after the studies, can actually now become your mentor. But if you don't have good connections, I mean by connections, good character, good relationships with them, then it becomes so hard to be able to say, oh, excuse me, I need this particular kind of help. Excuse me, I
True.
need this particular kind of help. So I think apart from even the mentors, apart from assessing your resources and things like that, I think having being a good maintaining a good relationship with people, even if they are not your mentors right now, because they might be your mentors in the next couple of years. We are talking of undergraduates now. We are not talking of people who are actually out of undergrads.
Yeah.
People in the undergrad. So you don't know what will happen in the next 2 years or in the next 1 year. You don't know. So you have to actually have a good relationship with everyone. And so you don't know where your help actually comes from. For example, I attended PhysOc, online PhysOc, while I was serving in Teacher Physiology 2020, and I actually got a prize. There was a prize I got at Physiology 2021 actually, and that made my name popular in PhysOc as at that time. So they know that someone was actually bearing success. And a particular professor reached out to me 2021 and he said, "Hi, success. I realized that you are a media producer and you're a physiologist." He introduced himself. I was not the one who even wrote to the professor. It was the professor that wrote to me. And the professor said, how
Levels.
are you?
Levels
It,
did this thing, Abi.
Levels.
Boss,
it
I
was the
hear you.
professor that wrote to me, and the professor said, I am a videographer also, and I am a professor, and this is where I work. If you need any help concerning this and this and this, please just write to me on this email." That was in 2021. After I went for masters, after finishing my masters, I wrote to the professor and said, hi, professor. Now I'm done with my masters, and I'm trying to say
And
if
it's
there
time
is
to
any
show
opportunity,
workings.
if there is any opportunity to apply come for graduate studies in your university. And the professor just answered. He's my friend actually, but he told me, he said, no, right now there is no actually any position for PhDs right now. I said, oh, okay, no, no worries. So, but I later, after finishing my masters and doing the clearance, I applied. I just miraculously, I would say, I just saw this particular advert, and it says, okay, there is a PhD studentship on this particular field, and that you can actually apply and do this. So I did that. I applied, and to cut the long story short, my supervisor was actually a friend to that professor. And when I got the scholarship with this supervisor, he now told the professor that, oh, I got a new student. That student will be coming from abroad, will be coming for his PhD studies. And the professor asked him, who is this student? And he said, oh, is this person, this person? And the professor said, come on, I know him. Come on, I know him. And the professor now wrote to me and said, hey, I heard you'll be coming over for your PhD. I said, what? How did you know? How did you know I'll be coming? But what I want to actually take out of this is when it gets this is about clarity, right? You sometimes are not sure of where you are going. It's common. You might not be sure of where you are going. In fact, people like us, like me, I don't even know this area of specialization I would choose from undergrad because I believed if I want to go to cardio, I will do it well, no worries. If I want to go to nephrology, I'll go, I will still do it. So I don't have a real, like, I don't have target. I don't have a real specialization target. But what actually helped me was, all these conferences, all these relationships that you have with people that you don't even know or expect that would actually turn to something good can actually re- re- can actually be rewarding to you in the next couple of years. So even if you don't have that clarity, so having mentors, making use of your resources, and then lastly, making sure that even if you don't have the mentors, if you don't have the people that know the way right now, just make sure you have a good relationship with all the people that are around you. Go for conferences. Make sure you try your best to enhance your exposure. Go to workshops, go to things like that. Make friends, connect, make or network with people. You never can tell what will reward you in the next one or in the next couple of years. So I think that is what I can just add to that. And then
Yeah, I think you mentioned something I've been thinking about before I maybe pass the mic to Michael, which is attending conferences actually gives clarity. Attending some of these events let you know if you will pick an interest in it or not. But I don't know. I guess we speak to the fact that in Nigeria, or I don't want to generalize Africa, but so because in Nigeria, do we think we have sufficiency of those kind of events that can give clarity to undergrads on what is available for them outside of like maybe being an undergrad? Do we think we have sufficiency uh, of those kind of events? This is like a
as
general question and it's
yeah,
just
yeah.
related. Yeah,
I think
For
so.
me,
you
I
think
think
for
so.
so?
my
I think you find what you are looking for.
Me,
yeah.
in my okay, let me say maybe I'm biased. I will say I don't think so.
Like Sussex said, it might not be in Nigeria, okay, but you can. I'm sure you'll be able to attend some online international conference that's related to what you want somewhere in Egypt, anywhere, right? So it might not be a conference that was situated in Nigeria or that was conducted in Nigeria, whatever. But yeah, if you are looking for something online, I'm sure you'd
But
find
okay,
something when it
so
comes to like conferences or online programs.
I
For
think I'll
example,
let me put a balance. So says please let me put a balance maybe
yeah,
to my question in sense of how many physiology students now. This might be more niche for maybe people that are not in physiology, but how many physiology students did you think you met outside of FUTA that had an idea of physical society?
not many, not
Yeah,
many.
so that's where I'm going.
What I'm saying, many of them are not exposed to the fact that they can actually do these things. So, many people come into basic sciences because they couldn't get admission into medicine. That's the truth that's many people's
Yeah,
story. Right? So they are not trying to explore physiology or anatomy or biomedical sciences. They are just there maybe to finish up, just to go to school, graduate and face their businesses, or to finish and now go to medical school. So for people that are trying to explore and have the right, professors, if they don't know PhysOc, they'll most likely know PSN, right? Or, other things around health, echocardiography training, all those kind of things. If you are searching, if you are diligent enough to search, I strongly believe you'll find something that could help.
okay. Ogashon, do you think you guys have sufficiency of those like events in engineering that you think you attended that helped you with maybe deciding your interest?
None that I can really count off, but I can remember a particular course, engineers in society like that. It was not really what I was expecting. I think we need to do more. We need to do better in engineering. Yeah. So
Oga Felix, I know you're in chemistry, which is probably very similar to basic sciences. So it's like, okay, I think Oga Felix is probably not available now. Let's see.
If
Worship, what do you
if you
think?
can add, Christian.
No, okay. Maybe after you add, then worship would speak.
Okay, so I wanted to say it's not try to also attend student events. So it's not compulsory that as an undergrad you should be looking for the FISOCs or the big conferences for professors. There are student events, your student association, they organize national events, national what do they call it? Like conferences.
Yeah.
For example, for us, it was SPAN, and we had SPAN National Conference, SPANs this, SPANs for your association for engineering. I'm sure they have this, that, all those kind of things in your school. Try as much as possible to affiliate yourself to those this
Nah.
thing, to those kind of events. Attend some of them, things like that. So it doesn't have to be something big. Nobody expects you to have published 10 papers by the time you like. It's not an expectation. You can, but nobody expects you to. Even those that publish 10 papers, when you get abroad, you know that what you published was not really papers, but you would be able to put something on your CV. And I will expatiate on that when it's my time.
Yeah, worship.
Yeah, so for me in the physiology field, I won't say there are actually conferences like that or events like that in most Nigerian schools, but we're privileged to have lecturers that could expose us. So I think our own case in
Yeah, I
our
think
school
it's
is
different.
different. Yeah, so from that early stage, I was already catching glimpses of what I could do with my course. So it's not like, okay, if I do physiology, I'm only limited to this or limited to this. It's just like a basics. And you can actually explore diverse fields. I think that was even what led me to go into genetics for my MSc. Me having the vision that okay, I'm just not limited to physiology alone. So yeah, those events will help. They will open your eyes to the various things you can do with your degree. You see that, or you're not limited to just one scope. And you can explore the online versions of them. There are a lot of them actually on LinkedIn. You'll see. Check Twitter too, you'll see a lot of these things. You can just sign up for your email. You get in, you see people talk, share their experiences, and it's like, I'm not just limited to this because there is a way Nigeria has actually conditioned for Nigerian undergrads. There's a way Nigeria can actually condition your reasoning, and you just think really, really small. So please try to explore this event. There are a lot of opportunities out there.
Oh
Thank you.
yeah, I think that conditioning is something I would say. Like you rightly mentioned, I always see us as coming from a privileged position, and I'm proud to say this. FUTA is probably the best university in Nigeria right now. Anybody can hold me. I don't have to prove it. Anybody that wants to, I don't have any evidence
Or
anywhere.
say FUTA students are the best students
But
in
we are
Nigeria.
going to judge the tree by its fruits now, so I can conclude that FUTA is the best school, uh, with that regard, and the reason is because, sincerely, I've met physiology students from other schools, and I've also met even product of not just physiology, even other courses, and I can tell you that the rigor or the exposure we tend to have in FUTA shapes us differently to like some of these other universities. And then I've even seen people come to me and be like, "There's this thing about you, FUTA student. There's a way you guys connect and hold things together." They've been Erasmus. They were Erasmus that they have just 5 slots for that Erasmus, and FUTA got all 5. Like FUTA student had all 5. Like I'm saying, worldwide, there was just 5 slots, and FUTA student got all the 5. So it's there's a part that I think privilege because it's not something you commonly find in other universities. I've spoken to students from other universities that had never seen an ECG before, that they don't even know what PhysOc is, they don't know their physiological associations, and that tend to shape their mindset in what they think it's possible with what they have or what they can do with their degree. Like for example, I had the opportunity to work uh, at a teaching hospital, and it was during that period I knew I don't think I want to be in the clinic as a physiology student. I just knew like the clinic is not for me. I'm going straight to research. And that also added more to my clarity because I was still in between, oh, should I stay in the clinic or should I do core research? But just that experience alone, and I think that'll bring back maybe to the first part of things we've spoken about. Having internship opportunity can also add to your clarity. I think that's what I wanted to point out. Like if you have the opportunity to maybe go to for an internship in like a particular industry or in a particular niche, and you end up enjoying or not enjoying it, it can shape you to like, okay, I don't think this thing is meant for me. I don't think this thing is suited for me. And that helps you to refine your goals in terms of what you hope to achieve from grad school, even if you eventually, when you eventually go to grad school. So for me, I think that's just to add more to the point that we mentioned that I think going for internships also can serve as a very big catalyst in having better clarity on what you want to achieve, even from your undergraduate days. So, Michael, I think I'll hand over the mic to you. And once again, I would like to thank all of our speakers for coming. I understand that we are busy. If we would like to leave, just let me know. Yeah, it's good having you around. And before we leave, just before we leave, I would like each of us to introduce ourselves, like your full introduction. So just so that everyone that is watching would know us. I know I didn't do. I just mentioned people's name, but just give us a little bit about yourself before you talk. Worship, your hand was up, so. I'll let you go first.
All right, so before I introduce myself, I wanted to talk about the part where you said doing internships can actually help you with your clarity.
Yeah.
Taking myself as an example, at the time I did like a 6 month internship at a diagnostic center, and I was majorly in the cardiac section, ECG, spirometry, and all of that. After those months, I knew that this is not
Yeah.
my way.
This is not
I
me.
don't like this thing. So I had to divert. Like, I want research. I want pure research where I'm in the lab, I'm doing things, I'm experimenting and all of that. That is what I love. I don't think I'm really into cardiac care and all of that. So yes, doing an internship can let you know what you like and what you don't like. My mentor says that you don't know what you like yet because you are not exposed to the different options that are available. So you might think you like something, but the only reason why you think or you may like it at that point is because that's the only thing you're exposed to. So
True.
please explore different things and then figure out which one works best for you. So yeah, for my introduction, my name is Worship, and I have a bachelor's degree in physiology from FUTA, and I went on to do my master's in cell biology and genetics in the University of Lagos, and I'm currently doing my PhD in the Department of Physiology, FUTA also. So yeah, I think that covers it, right, Kristen?
Yeah, that's fine. Ogasheun, can you go next?
All right, thank you so much for letting me introduce myself. My name is Oluwaseun Abiodun Adekoya. I hold a bachelor's in engineering from Federal University of Technology, Akure, mechanical engineering, and then I have a master's degree from the University of Cincinnati. I'm currently a doctoral candidate in the same mechanical engineering program at the University of Cincinnati.
It's plenty. It's plenty. Is that the only thing?
That's what you see.
He's also the convener for Gegas Africa, which is involved in helping people get into tech. You will not say that one, but I'll add it. So just after we finish the introduction, there's one question in the chat box that we are just going to address quickly so that we can end on time.
Okay.
Michael.
Okay. My name is Michael. I got my bachelor's degree from the Federal University of Technology, Akure, Department of Physiology, of course. And then I served in Enugu. Got a little bit of experience with the Nigerian Army before I flew down to the US to commence my PhD in physiology from the I'm currently in the University of Mississippi Medical Center as a PhD student. So yeah, but speaking on, can I go ahead, Kristen?
Let's just finish the introduction. I think we can go back.
Okay.
We'll round up. Michael is also a dropout student of UNN.
Oh yeah, so I started my master's. I have a master's degree in at the University of Nigeria, Nsukka. While working in Enugu, but I got my PhD scholarship while doing that after many years. Actually, like 1 year. So yeah, and then I came into the US. So I didn't finish master's. And that's also to tell you that you can do a PhD without master's.
Okay, Success. I don't know if you are still with us. If you can just quickly introduce yourself before you go.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to actually introduce myself. So my name is Success Ajayi, and I also hold a bachelor's degree from the Federal University of Technology, Akure, Physiology, Department of Physiology. I did my master's in human physiology at Afe Babalola University, Udo-Ekiti. And then I moved on to start the pursuit of my PhD in anatomy, physiology, and pathology at the University of Westminster in London, in UK. So I think that sums it.
And Success has album. Maybe we'll drop his Spotify link. You guys should go and stream
Don't
the
worry,
song.
don't worry. I'm releasing one. I'm releasing one by December 22nd. Yeah, on December 22nd.
He's a good musician.
Is it pro gospel?
Yeah, exactly. Wow, you have the Spirit of God. Wow. Is that for gospel? Wow. Yeah.
He's in the spirit.
He's in the spirit.
I'm a man of God.
Yeah. Oga Felix.
I know, bro, Sheung, I know you from FUTA. Do you remember me from FUTA?
I
You
actually
know what?
do
We
not.
keep the acquaintance. We keep the acquaintance. You
But
probably will know
the
him.
name sounds familiar though. Success Ajayi sounds familiar, but I don't think we've
Yeah.
heard before. Yeah.
Okay. All right. All
Yeah.
right.
Oga Felix.
Yeah, Felix Buyolo by name. A
We can't see
PhD
your face, so
student at
if you know.
oh, okay. A
Okay.
PhD student at the University of Wyoming, the US, and I had my bachelor's degree from Obafemi Awolowo University, the Department of Chemistry. So yeah,
Okay.
that's where I am.
Like I said, if you need money, talk to these guys. They are
No,
money people. And I think okay, I'm the only one left. My name is Christian Abosede, also known as Arakunrindare, and I also have my bachelor's degree from FUTA in physiology, and currently I'm a PhD student at the University of North Dakota, studying biomedical science with focus on epigenetics. And now we'll use this last 10 minutes to address the question, and we'll call it a wrap for today. And I'll see you guys tomorrow, same time. Now, this person is asking, what are the chances of getting into graduate school in the US for cancer biology without relevant experience or publication, but with self-acquired skills in bioinformatics or wet lab techniques? Uh, I think to address this question, one, I don't think there's a way you can self-acquire wet lab skills. I think that's the first. Not let me say like a flaw in the question, but then it's like one of the things that needs to be addressed in this question. So even if you have wet lab skills, you need to be under a supervision of whoever you're working with to actually own that skill. So that's one. And these are things that you can identify in your CV that you're actually working in a lab or you're part of a lab and this is what you guys work on. So, and many people have already pointed out here that you don't actually need publication to get into grad school. But if you can show that you have these skills. Now, for the self-acquired skills in bioinformatics, even if I think now, even if you don't have certificate for those skills, you can showcase things you've done. Now, that could be maybe creating like a slide project or creating like a poster of a particular topic you worked on, you analyzed, and just posting it online. I did this, I tried to analyze this using this method. Show people that you actually show workings, like they say. Don't just tell us, show workings. And these are things like you can actually identify in your uh in your CV. For example, you say you want to apply for cancer biology. You can go online. There are publicly available data that are related to bioinformatics that are related to cancer. You can analyze those data, put it out there, and be like, "Oh, I have expertise in doing this." Those are relevant experiences. You don't need to have publication. They are relevant experiences because those are the kind of questions you want to answer when you come to like grad school in the US also. So that's my own view to that. I think we'll just go quickly because yeah, we want to round up at exactly 2 o'clock. So Ogashun, I think you can start first. I know you've experienced this.
Yeah, thank you so much. This person said that skill set for the wet lab or whatever has been self-acquired. So
Yeah.
if you're gonna be applying for opportunities in the US, whatever it is that's gonna be your focal point, you need things that can serve as testaments to buttress what you are, touching on. So the first of them is if it's self-acquired, you need something to confirm that okay, you are really good at this. One of them is going to be, probably you want to buttress that with a massive open online course, MOOC. I mean, there's a bunch of them on Coursera, blah, 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 that can say that, oh, you have a certificate. You need something to testify that you're really good at it. And then if it's self-acquired, that means you've been doing it yourself. How did you get the tools? How do you get the laboratory apparatuses, the equipment and everything? So who's been your supervisor? I don't know. So your recommenders probably would come in from there and say that you have been able to acquire these skills. You've done this, you've done that. You need something to be able to portray that you've really owned that skill. You need something. So, I mean, you probably want to, focus more on that, something that can, serve as a testament to this skill that you have owned. That's just what I have to say. But of course, your chances are very high. I mean, a couple other papers I published before applying for my own graduate opportunities. I mean, we used a number of software that I myself I didn't even know how to use as an undergrad. But I took massive open online courses and I added those to the certification segment on my resume. So I mean, when your reviewers see that, that's going to serve as something convincing for them to work with for you. Yeah, that's all I have to say.
Okay. Michael, do you want to, or Oga Felix? I already put the question in for us so that we can actually see the question. Worship, I think Michael's. I don't know if you
Let
have
him go
anything
ahead.
to
Let him
add.
go ahead.
Worship, if you have anything to add, yeah, you can add to it. Do you think it's possible to have self-acquired skills in wet lab?
All right, so no, I don't think you can have self-acquired skills in Vietnam. You need someone to train you, and someone to put you through. And another thing I think the person should take note is that you can study cancer biology from different angles. So not just
Yeah.
one angle. At this point, they don't really expect you to have all the knowledge, but you just need probably basic lab technique and you mastering those techniques. And you can get this in your research projects. So if it's that you have to discuss with your supervisor or something and try to gain your basic laboratory techniques that you can always build on later, that's going to be a good thing. And you can always put your research as part of your research experience. So this shows that you've spent some time in the lab. Then for the publications, yeah, you don't necessarily need publications. I've been involved in various applications and by a couple of people that got in without publications. So I don't think that is a necessary requirement. But as much as possible, you need just try to have it if you can. If you can link
Yeah.
up with your mentor, all of that to help you out. That's going to be really great. Then you can also self-acquire skills in bioinformatics. They're going to be basic because what you're going to need to work with is going to be more complex than what you can acquire by yourself or what can teach us at that point. But yeah, it's a good step in the right direction. And like Christian said, try to showcase your work in one way or the other. So yeah, that's it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. I think you've nailed everything. Michael, I don't know if you have anything to add to that.
I'll just say they don't need you to like have a publication or know everything. But what I would say to this person is expand your course. Like try to apply to multiple schools. Okay, so because of course maybe your chances are maybe a little bit low compared to somebody that has all the experiences in cancer biology already. But that doesn't mean you can't get in. But you need to apply to more schools so that your chances of getting in would be higher. And whatever you think you have, try to know them like very well. Also, they don't just look at the skills or your CGPA or things like that. They also look at references. So make sure your referees are writing things that are nice about you. That's why I think many of the speakers already said you cannot self acquire. You don't have a lab, okay? So try to make sure whoever is writing your recommendation letters and write something nice about you. So those things carry weight when you're applying for whichever course you're applying for. So on the general note, yeah, I think that matters.
All right. Sources, I don't know if you have anything to add or Oga Felix.
Um, I think I think in addition to I mean for the self-acquired skills in bioinformatics, just to buttress, there are several online courses that you can actually get, and adding that to your certification section actually will make a good will make good sense. I mean, just like engineer Shion already stated. So, and I think if it's for the UK, I know the question actually is for the US, but if it's for the UK, you can actually get in without publications. It's possible. It's possible you get in without publications, and it's possible that you get in with these self-acquired skills in bioinformatics. But just like my other people, colleagues actually have said, getting self-acquired wet lab techniques isn't feasible. So you have to tell what lab and what place you actually learned it from. And especially just like Worship has already pointed out, you can actually do something relating to that cancer biology or anything, maybe any small thing, any basic thing that is related to cancer biology in your undergrad research project. And one way, know how to package it very well on your CV, like okay, I did this and this and this, and so I have the preliminary, I have the basic thing knowledge that is useful for any research in cancer biology related things.
Okay.
So I think that way
Yeah.
will work.
Guy Felix, we'll take you and we'll wrap up if you're still with us.
I mean, the other speaker have said it all. I don't think I have anything
Okay.
to add to that. So, I'm coming from, science
Kevin.
wet lab kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
the only thing I know that you can do, like if it is wet lab, I don't think you can do that personally on your own.
Yeah.
You need mentor. You need somebody that's ahead of you. No matter the kind of literature you've read, you still need someone to put you
Definitely.
through. So, but if it's computational chemistry or computational cancer studies, where I believe these are things that you can, learn from, maybe Coursera, some other things, and then you apply it to some trajected molecules or some things like that. Then you get your way around it and you show workings, as you've said.
Yeah.
So, I
I think
mean,
that's the
yeah.
point. If
Yeah.
if you're
Mhm.
self uh is it self-taught now in any skills, the what you want to show is to show workings and put it out there and for people to see that okay, I'm actually good with this thing. So that will bring us to the end of day one. Thank you everyone that tuned in. Thank you to all our speakers. Guys, I love you guys so much. Thank you for coming. And it's good to have you guys. To all our online viewers, thank you so much for coming. We hope continue to give you good and valuable information as this program progresses. You see some of our speakers again tomorrow till the end of the program. And then if you need any help, I already put the email in the chat box. Do well to reach out, and we can always link you up with any of these mentors to get more help with grad school application. God bless you and have a lovely day in whatever part of the world you are in. Thank you, guys.